consent.
I'd like to call the October 16th, 2025 Montecito Board of Architectural Review consent calendar online. Item C1484 Barker Pass Road. Ken, are you here or somebody else? Okay, did you have any, I had no comments on this. Rob would like to look at the landscape plans if we can just get back to them.
Yeah, it'll be right after civil coming up here shortly. There you are. Yeah, it was Chris.
Oh, yeah, I really like, excuse me. Where this project started and what it's come to is,
So you're good.
I'm great. Yeah, no, I thought they did a great job. So,
Okay, so we will recommend approval at the full board in about 10, 15 minutes. Thank you for coming by. Yeah, item C2, 77 Olive Mill Road. Is there anybody here for that, please? Santiago?
Hi,
Okay, very
Chair
good.
Watson. Nicole Virgil here with
Yeah.
SEPS Land Use Consulting for the 234 Miramar Avenue project. Is
Okay.
that what you have? Okay.
Okay, so, did you have any comments about this, Rob?
no, I would just like to see the landscape plan real quick.
Can we see the landscape plan, please?
And while we're on the landscape plan, we can look at the lighting comments too, but go ahead.
Mr. Chair, what was the specific issue why this was back?
Well, it's back for final. They got preliminary last meeting. And now they're trying to get
Okay, there was
There
no,
weren't any comments on the landscape plan. Board member Sen, I think, is that who's speaking? But you had comments on the lighting plan and we needed our architectural details, which we provided.
I saw that the lighting plan had specified the height,
Mhm.
so thank you.
And the fixture at the address numbers has been updated.
in my only comment, and it was, in my recollection at the time, I thought the same thing, but it's not anything that I would hold you up on, is that I think that motor court driveway paving, I think you can pare that down some when you get to it. I encourage you to kind of look at that as you move forward into finalizing everything, or when you get in the field, it looks,
This is the final plan.
I know, no, I'm just saying as they do construction, it's not that I want to hold it up. I'm just saying that my reaction at that time, and it's still the same, is like there seems like a lot of paving that could be kind of pulled in a little bit, but I think that's kind of a field finesse thing. So I'm fine with it.
So you're okay with
Yes,
that?
absolutely.
Okay, so lighting LE2 is a 40-watt equivalent, and there are over the seating area on the north side of the property. There are a lot of them. This is not a requirement, but I think you guys may want to consider dimmers on that.
Are you
And
looking
the
at LL?
LE2, just.
Oh, I see. Mm-hmm.
You don't have any dimmers called out on any of your lighting. And you
Okay.
may want to consider that. And then can we look at the roofing just to make sure? I think it's matte, but when I saw it go by, I just want to make sure. Please. Keep going up. Right there. Does it say? Yep, matte finish. Okay, so I'm ready to recommend final to.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. The full board will be reviewing it in a few minutes.
Thank you.
That ends the Montecito Board of Architectural Review consent calendar. And is everybody here and ready to go?
Yes, sir.
Okay. It's after 1 o'clock, so I'd like to call the October 16th 2025, Montecito Board of Architectural Review to order. First item on the agenda is public comment. Does anybody like to address the board on an item not before us today, please?
I do not have any requests to speak.
Agenda status report, any changes?
No changes today, just to note that we did not have our site visit this morning.
Okay, minutes of October 2nd. Anybody got anything, please? Anybody? No? And I don't either, so I'd like to move for approval of the October 2nd, 2025 minutes as submitted. Is there a second, please?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Anybody opposed?
I'm abstaining.
I'm
abstaining as well.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Stephanie, Stacy, did you vote? Okay, so we have 4. Okay, now, before we get off into informational briefings, David, are you here for the whole meeting? Bill, except item 3, are you?
Item
here?
3, I'm out.
At what time? When do you need to leave this meeting? Okay. Okay,
By 3:15 at the latest.
okay, we're gonna have quorum problems today. So people that are attending the meetings, I want to let you know that we're gonna have quorum problems starting about 3:15 to 4 o'clock. So let's try to keep moving. Members informational briefing, anybody got anything, do anything? Did you go anywhere?
I saw falling water.
And what was your thought?
I was surprised that it was his response to the international style. It was concrete and steel.
Okay, excellent. Staff update, anybody got anything?
Nothing from me.
Nothing for me either.
Okay, so item C1, Rob and I had a chance to review this and recommend approval, final approval as submitted. Is there, and I will make a motion to that effect. Is there a second?
Second that.
All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Item C2, we also recommended approval of 234 Miramar Avenue. And I will make a motion for approval as submitted. Did you want to comment about the driveway in there?
I was encouraging, it's not a condition, but I was encouraging the applicant to, and when they actually get into construction, to make efforts to kind of skinny down the paving and try to fatten up the planters a little bit.
Okay, and is that a second to the motion?
And second, yes, please.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, as I said, we have got to keep moving today. Item number 1, 1407 Schoolhouse Road. This is for conceptual review. And this was continued from the last meeting. This is our first time we've seen this.
Ready for me or?
If you can be as brief as possible, we've got very serious quorum problems.
Sure.
So please go ahead.
All right, good afternoon. My name is Jacob Nixto. I'm here on behalf of the owners, Paul and Sherry Deemer. I believe they're available watching via Zoom if
Okay,
any questions arise. This may look slightly familiar to some of you. We did a significant remodel and renovation back in 2018, about 7-8 years ago. And that turned out very well. We're here today for 3 additional kind of new aspects to this property. The first is a remodel and expansion of the southeast corner. The grays aren't really distinguished, but kind of southeast corner of the main residence to the east of the garage. It's a 1-story addition, same finished floor as the main house, same ridge elevation as the main house as well, or max ridge. That's about 13.5 feet above the existing grade. The second aspect is a new pool cabana. It's 800 square foot pool cabana centered south of the pool. That's also a one-story structure with similar detailing. Due to the lot kind of sloping off gently to the east, those roof elevation callouts there are about between 14 and 15 feet above existing grade as we kind of work with a natural slope. And the third element is two new driveway gates at either side of the existing driveway. No change to the asphalt or layout, just adding driveway gates to those there, and we have elevations of those on a future sheet. So a couple of things to note here on the site plan. There is fairly mature established screening to the north and the south. Those green items there are existing hedges, not necessarily proposed. Some photos here shortly that will show those. And Paul and Sherry have spoken with their neighbors to the north, to the south, to the west. It sounds like those conversations have generally been positive and supportive, kind of reflective of our desire to keep it appropriately sized and appropriate proximity to the neighbors and so forth. So if we can, actually, I did want to point out the western neighbor asked us to keep an eye on stormwater and drainage kind of across it's really the shared easement driveway. And, we're here for conceptual, but I did want to mention when the time comes, we will certainly keep an eye on that. The next page, please. There's photos. Generally, the photos on the left, 1, 2, 3, 4, are kind of the neighbor. There's not a lot of visibility to other structures. 5, 6, 7, 8 is where the house addition will be. If we look at 6 and 9, they all kind of show the existing hedging. 10 even as well on the right side there. There's an established hedge between them and the south neighbor. So in the interest of time, I'll kind of go to the next one, but if you do have questions, they're certainly available for further inspection. Existing floor plan of the main house on the left.
Don't look at floor plans. Let's just go to the elevations, please.
Okay. Basically, the areas that we are working on are shown in blue, existing above, proposed below. Again, keeping the same detailing as the existing house. The one area is kind of the new family room den, which has a gable and a larger steel window to take advantage of some lovely mountain and landscape views to the north and to the east. Next page, A31, shows the gate. It's a little bit larger scale than the other elevations, so there's a scale figure there. It's not intended to be as tall as the house. It's just the half-inch scale versus quarter scale. It's really, no taller than 5 feet at the hedges. And the next page, A32, these are the cabana preliminary elevations. Again, similar detailing, roof, eave, wall, window, door. And then lastly, next page, this was our detail sheet from the 2018 work. Again, just included to show that we intend to match detailing there as well. So,
That it?
that's all for now. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your brevity. Questions, Stacy?
Yeah, I'm curious, in the layout on the cabana with the pool, why is the cabana so removed from the pool since it's a pool cabana and not kind of brought in closer to the pool? It seems kind of like a missed opportunity. Is there a reason? And also it's not on center with the pool. It's kind of off center from the pool.
So that's an interesting question. It is actually on center with the olive trees. There's kind of an olive alley, and the trees themselves are 1.5 feet off center from the pool. So the decision was made to center within the trees rather than directly on the pool. There is an existing lawn that surrounds the pool, and then kind of a bed of landscaping around that lawn. The desire was to keep that lawn, have a little patio that is kind of light gray directly north there, and then for the pool cabana to open up on that patio. So keep the landscaping. The area that the cabana is located now is fairly barren, so not to disturb any of the existing landscaping.
How big are the olive trees? I couldn't tell from looking at the photos. They look kind of like bushes.
If you're able to go back, there's If we could zoom in on 14 there in the lower right. They're maybe 12 feet tall, 10 feet diameter. They're fairly established.
The pool.
Um, beyond the pool there, I think photo 10, kind of just to the left, 10 right there shows the side of, on the left there is one of the mature olive trees. I would guess 10 feet tall, 12 feet tall.
Okay, those are my questions. Thank you.
Rob, questions, please.
We go back to the site plan, please. So to the east, are the views significant there? You're trying to frame that, or
There's quite a nice view to the northeast, if you will, the mountains up to the north. Um, the owners, Paul and Sherry, are quite fond of the existing kind of little room that's there now, looking out to the east, and just making the space a little bigger, but keeping and enhancing that eastward mountain and landscaping view.
do the olive trees block that view? I mean, it looks like they kind of hem you in if in plan view, or eventually will.
If we can go to the photo, I believe there's a photo on the next page. Let's see, it would be 7, I guess, if you will, is the view from about where the living room would be. Right there. So, of course, that was taken on a foggy day, but there are great mountain views there, and the olive trees being off to the right. And again, the site slopes gently down in that direction. So the olive trees are a little bit lower. I think they're maybe 3 or 4 feet below the finished floor of the main house.
Is there a landscape plan that you folks are proposing, or?
We don't have one currently. We're not proposing significant changes to the landscape.
Okay, and last question, is the light sconce that you show in your plan, is that dark sky compliant?
You know, I would say, honestly, being here for conceptual, we would revisit that. I think a lot has changed in terms of lighting and electrical requirements since 2018. So that would certainly be something we would revisit
All
before.
right, thank you.
Bill, questions, please.
If you go back to the site plan there, Dave, real quick, the northern driveway entrance, is that far enough back from the street that you can pull a car up there and be out of the street?
Yeah, and we did speak with the fire department about their requirements, and they're happy with that location.
Okay.
So,
And maybe it's a one-way in kind of and out the other door.
yeah, you can kind of see the contours there. It's a little bit of a steep driveway on both sides. So that's at the flat spot. And
then last question, the pool equipment, I see you have it out of the setback, but against the property line. Is there any reason you couldn't? I mean, you're going to watch sound and all that kind of stuff. The neighbor looks like they're fairly far away. Is there any need, do you think, to add additional block on that one face to help sound of that equipment?
that is existing location, and it's
Oh, it is.
there now. I've not heard of any complaints with the neighbor. So,
Thank you.
Robert, questions, please.
Out of curiosity, the olives, are they're not field grown, obviously. Are they fruitless olives?
I am not sure about the species, the exact species.
It's Paul Deemer. I can answer that. They're fruitless.
No more questions.
David, questions, please.
No questions.
Public comment. Is there anybody that would like to address the board on item number 1407 Schoolhouse Road, please?
No requests.
We have not heard this before. Comments, Stacy. And we're on for concept, Stacy.
Yeah, I mean, architecturally, I think the design is fine, you know, in terms of where the house is now and where it's going, and it's all cohesive. I am concerned though about the cabana being kind of off center and kind of pushed away from the pool. I think it would be a little more remarkable if you brought it in, but I also think too, with the olive trees, they are young enough And they are not actually set up on an aligned grid. It's not kind of, you already have one that's on the upper right corner that's even off grid. That I think it would be wise to consider giving hierarchy precedent to the architecture and secondary precedent to the olive trees, which are young enough and it's cheap enough to move them. They're an easy tree to dig up and move. So that would be my comment. I think it would, and that and having a landscape plan next time you come in. I think just some adjustments to the site plan.
Is that it? Rob, comments, please?
I agree with some of the comments Stacy referenced. The I think the landscape is a great opportunity to bring this kind of backyard to another level. And you referenced that it was existing landscape. I think there's a lot more. Like it looks like to me, you're trying to move it in kind of a formal direction. And if that's your design intent, then I think there's a lot more that can be done with the development of a good landscape plan to take this to another level. What's existing looks looks kind of mundane, I guess, right now, and I guess would encourage you to kind of use that opportunity to really kind of create more of a wow in the backyard. So, and then um, on the driveway motor the driveway, I'm always sometimes the I always, I guess, get concerned. I know there's an ease of having two entries, but sometimes I think it's worth looking at trying to create some on-site, try to create, well, you've already got parking in the setback, technically, if you use the driveway, so that there's something to be said for trying to maybe simplify the driveway and maybe create a little bit more of a celebrated front door. The hardscape there is kind of is another opportunity, I guess, to develop that and develop something with maybe accent paving at that point to celebrate the front door. So I guess I would kind of look at the front driveway a little more and see if that can be upgraded a little bit, please, too. Thank you.
Bill, comments, please.
Yeah, I'm pretty much generally okay with what you've submitted here. Don't really have any issue. I agree with Stacy, and if it's a few feet to scoot the pool cabana over to line with the pool, maybe do it. I don't see, again, it's not a deal killer for me though. Everything else looks good.
Robert, comments, please.
Yeah, the distance from the pool to the cabana kind of helps the fact that it's just a few feet off. So I'm fine with where it is. And, I generally support the project. I'd like to see the light fixtures on the elevations and, get those all dialed in for dark sky. But I support the project in general.
Dave, comments, please.
Yeah, I think it's a well thought out project. I can support it as is, including the two driveway gates and leaving the landscape the way it is. And some of the comments I could see being optional if they want to upgrade, but I can support it just the way it is.
I have no further comments. Preliminary final full board, consent, what do you guys want to do?
Board.
Stacy, what did you say? I didn't hear you.
My comments are not that critical.
Okay.
Wouldn't hold it up.
So you're done with the full board. We'll see you back, preliminary, final, everything, make sure you get all the plans done. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Item number 2, 77 Olive Mill Road. Provide FAR study options to reduce massing and height of dwelling. Consider lowering plate height of second story. Consider lowering the roof pitch. Restudy proportions of garage door. Restudy floor plan and layout of first floor. Consider reducing the size of the first floor. Submit a landscape plan. consider hiring a licensed landscape architect, increase landscaping and screening, soften north, and in parentheses back, elevation of structure, reduce the size or pull the deck back from the southern property line, increase landscaping, clarify, elaborate the site layout, look for opposites to provide outdoor living space, utilize previous hardscape materials, and okay, so yeah, let's go back to my study. The applicants submitted a study which is really looking at floor plan areas, not FARs. So I went on out. The green X's are, they call them residential rentals on the county website. So this was, and I could have spread it out, but it seemed like this was really the neighborhood to me. If we can go to the next page and see. So what happened is they're well within 75, and the reason the second line has 0 on it next to the red is that it's a brand new project, so it starts at 0. So the board can do with that as they want. And I don't know that we need to look at your FAR study because it had to do with floor plan areas, not, okay, so please go ahead and address the comments.
Thank you. One of the big questions was the floor area ratio,
From my point of view, you're in there.
and then we're good. And so based on that, we can move forward on square footage in terms of that. Now, obviously, there's a lot of questions regarding the size and all that stuff. Originally, we were in floodplain, and we are no longer that. So we lowered the entire house 1 foot 3 inches. We still have to be 9 inches above average grade for finished floor per code. So that's where we kept it. We kept the slope because the slope of the roof, because we knew we were going to reduce the total height by 15 inches. So we didn't modify that. We did modify the entrance.
When we look at the plans that show this,
The show.
is it the site plan? Is that the best plan to look at?
No, let's look at the exterior elevations on sheet. A2.1, that one, the top section. You had commented about the garage being too tall, and so I drew another elevation, the southeast elevation on 2.1. It's the floor plan's on an angle, right? So I spread out that southeast elevation so you could see in plain view what that looks like. So the roof over the garage, we did drop the garage to 8 feet on the door, which lowered the roof a little bit. Also cut back the eave of that. I did a study of providing a trellis over the garage door. That didn't really work. It complicated things and made things a little messy. So I kept the roof over the garage door, lowered it, and reduced the eave by a foot. So that gave more emphasis to the front door. So it became a little more prominent, which was, I think, one of the goals that we wanted to achieve. The elevation on a 2.1, I'm sorry, a 2.2, the north elevation. One of the comments was the freeway view. If you see a dotted line where it says maximum height of the sound wall, they're in construction right now. And if you look at it and you look at the rebar that's up there, we're 14 feet up in the air. That line is what you're going to see above that. And that's if you look at it straight view, but you're on an upward trajectory sight line. So most likely you're not even going to see the eave if you're driving by on the freeway as you're looking up. I did add a gable on the center of that area above that door to emphasize a little more roof undulation. But most of the lower section you're never going to see. Rob Harvey, the owner, was sitting right next to me. He just spoke with Caltrans, and they're figuring out whether it's between 13 and 14 feet high. So that's that line right there. That dotted line that you could see on north elevation, that exactly right there. So added a little bit of the architectural element gable just to add some character from the freeway. Like I said, lowering the whole structure by 1.5 feet. If you go to sheet A 1.2, which is the floor plan, and A 1.1, which is the site plan, one of the comments was the deck, the entertainment deck. Well, because we were no longer in floodplain, those decks are now patios. They're just on grade, so we're not really having a deck. There's no railing or anything like that. So it's just paving. Now, this is conceptual, and I know when we get into the landscape, we're going to do all permeable, right? Paving patterns that will go along with that. We did not change the square footage. We did not change the pitch of the roof. We, when we get to landscape, we are going to address all the trees. We did do a study on the previous submittal for the duplex. If you remember that, there was an oak tree right there, which is going to be removed. It's not doing well. And the oak tree report states that. So, and that was submitted. I think that was all I have.
Thank you very much for being brief. Dave, questions, please.
No questions.
Robert, questions.
No question.
Bill, questions.
Is there a way you could, the decks that come right up to the property line where you could pull those back maybe 12 to 18 inches?
Yes, we'll do that.
Just a little buffer. That's all.
Rob, questions, please.
I think I remember this project, and so there was a comment I thought was just trying to, have you looked at trying to do some things either architecturally or paving wise to maybe kind of enhance the front door a little bit more?
I think we were going to try and do that in landscaping. We were trying to address the structure first because that was a big comment. We weren't sure what the FAR was going to do.
Or architecturally, we're an extension architecturally of some element on the building that you bring out with a trellis or just like a one post trellis with a header or something.
It would be really difficult, especially with the car. We want to make sure with the cars are safe as a backup and not interfere with the structure. Right. Matter of fact, if you go to A1.1, the fence when you back up, right, you can see a trajectory of that center line of the garage door. We're pretty close to that. We want to make it a 3-point turn as a backup. So if we add any architectural element that is on ground, then that would be difficult to do. If we do something that extends out beyond the roof line or something like that, we could look at that, but that doesn't fit with the architecture style that we're trying to create.
Okay, thank you.
Stacy, questions, please.
No, I have no questions.
And neither do I. Public comment. Is there anybody that would like to address the board on item number 2, 77 Olive Mill Road, please?
No requests.
This is our second hearing on the actual single-family residence. It was a duplex for a while. We are on for concept. Comments. Dave.
I think you've done a good job of responding to the comments and concerns, and I can support the project moving forward as shown.
Robert.
I support the project as well.
Bill, please.
Yeah, I can support it. Just move those decks on the south border there, 12 to 18 inches off the property so you can get some planting in there. That's it.
Rob.
I have nothing to add.
And Stacy,
I
please.
can support it as is.
Yeah, I think it's a nice plan too, given everything. It is crowded down there. There's no doubt about it, that area. Okay, so members of the board, what do we want to do with this project next? We're on for concept. We see what we have before us. We do not have a landscape plan. Full board?
Yeah, do the landscape. That's fine.
Preliminary, final, full board. Okay, thank you very much. Item number 3, bill is out. 750 Picacho Lane. Site visit and story poles required. Story pole 4 corners of the roof deck. We did not do that because the applicant represented in an email to David that the roof deck had been removed. MBA are concerned about the roof deck. Consider other railings. Restudy use of stone in the architecture. Can you consider using stone pattern other than 5-point? MBAR members roof deck graphics are confusing and difficult to read. Clarify and refine. One member expressed concerns regarding the mass, bulk, and scale of the residence. Confirm, correct the FAR calculations. Restudy entry gate. Consider relocating gate further away from the street. So is there anybody here online? Please.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, board members. This is Eric Baer with AB Design Studio.
Okay. I don't know if you heard it or not. We have very serious quorum problems about 3:15 to 4 o'clock. If you could be brief, we would appreciate it. So please go
Yes,
ahead.
can do. Okay, thank you. As you just read, Chair, the proposed roof deck has been removed. So the first several comments from the prior hearing are no longer applicable. The owner was willing to eliminate the previously proposed roof deck given the board's concerns. Comment number 4, restudy use of stone in the architecture. We'll see that on the material board pattern that we've provided. Comment 5 was also regarding the roof deck. So that's no longer applicable. Comment 6, graphics are confusing, difficult to read. That was regarding the exterior elevations, which we've adjusted to read better, which we will share briefly. One member expressed concern regarding mass, bulk, and scale. So we've confirmed accuracy with our FAR calculations here on the title sheet. If you want to zoom in on that, we're only proposing an addition of 189 square feet across several very small additions, all beneath the existing roof of the house. So it's a 3% FAR increase, which you can see here from 117% to 120%. So lastly, restudy entry gate, consider relocating gate further away from the street. If you would like to go to page 27, we've been working through that issue since we were here last with transportation and with planning. Those are all existing site walls and gates, and we were able to get enough documentation and satellite imagery and so forth. Transportation's okay with allowing those to remain and are represented as existing, permitted to remain. So no proposed changes to the gates or the stone wall along Picacho. We have fire department support for those existing elements to remain as well. From here, we can go to page 36. Where we can see the exterior elevations. We've removed the hatching that was showing up kind of in a conflicting manner on the digital plans last time. So the exterior elevations remain primarily the same as what we presented last time, with the exception of the roof deck removed from the previously proposed ADU. So you can see we're proposing primarily just repairing and replacing the stucco finish, which is represented in kind of the light gray. It's just a white plaster finish. You can see there's some proposed stone and some accent of wood cladding and cement fiberboard in between the upper and lower window systems is kind of a transom material, which you can see in some of the elevations. You can click to the next sheet and just quickly go through these elevations. You can see the west elevation here, moving on. East and west courtyard elevations, moving on. Again, no real change to the mass, bulk, and scale, just proposing to clean up the exterior of the building, which has been neglected. Moving on. We can go from here to page 5 for the material board. So here you can see, starting in the bottom right corner, the proposed exterior plaster. We've got the stone finish above that, which is a freeform pattern, staying away from the 5-point per recommendations of the board. You can also see here other materials such as box 4 showing the wood cladding. We've got the cement fiber panels shown in box 11, which is just a very small accent material. And we've got some slatted wood in box 10 that's kind of meant to match the same tone of the wood in the cladding in box 4. We can come back to this if the board has questions. From here, if you would like to go to page 7, we've got our proposed landscape plans. Our landscape architect wasn't able to make the hearing today. Again, just kind of some cleanup to the site, which has also been neglected. We can try and answer questions if the board has it. The existing access road along the bottom of the site, we just wanted to clarify for the board, that's an existing gravel driveway that allows the neighbor to the east to access the property off of Picacho Lane there. That's gravel. It's not proposed to be paved. That's gravel to remain. There is some proposed pavers there in front of the garage, and some pathways and pavers to navigate the site. Some proposed trees. If you go to page 21, you can see the planting plan. And there's some proposed olive trees out along Picacho. We've got some proposed sycamores, some small citrus trees kind of in the bottom right corner. Again, we can try to answer questions if the board has any regarding landscaping. To page 23, you can see the proposed site lighting specs, which are located on the next page in the lighting plan. And I think I'll conclude the presentation there. You can return to page 27, which we can leave up on the screen here for questions from the board. Thank you.
Thank you for being brief. This is the second time we've heard this item. We are on for preliminary questions. Rob,
I don't have any questions.
Dave,
No questions.
Stacy,
No questions.
Robert,
No questions.
and I have no questions. We do have someone in the audience. Yes, there you are. Justin Fox. He lives next door. Yes. Yes, you can speak there. Please keep your comments to 3 minutes.
Thank you. I'm here on behalf of the owner of the southern neighbor at 720 Picacho. They share the southern fence line there. We observed the previous meeting before they had changed the plan here for today, and we kind of noted that there was a misstatement to the board here about the scale and mass and impact on the proposed modification to the neighbors. And specifically, when the new owners took this property, they're flippers, developers. They removed along the southern fence line 30, 40-year-old vegetation that was provided sufficient and very good screening between the neighbors, in so much that the owner of the southern property never even saw the house. He's lived there for 30, 40 years. He never even saw 750 Picacho for the most part. And now the property 750 looks down onto his private area of his backyard, specifically his master bedroom, his bathroom, his guest room, his other guest quarters by the pool house, and there is no privacy anymore at 720 Picacho. It's as if 750 is perched upon 720. I know that they've planted some small little vegetation back along the fence line, but it is several 10, 20 feet shorter than what it used to be. And it will never screen sufficiently the privacy between the neighbors again, no matter if you wait a decade for the plants to grow up. And so it's a big concern, because I just saw here that the the landscaping plan and the planting plan do not reflect any sufficient trees or other screening that would restore the screening and the privacy between the properties. The owner doesn't have any problem with the construction they're doing now that we've learned that the deck is being removed from the plan of the ADU. And that's great to hear. I know this board doesn't have much oversight over the ADU in general, but of course it is kind of also perched against the property line, which is a concern, but it's outside of your purview, I understand. So I want to focus today on making sure that we're implementing a screening, vegetation, and planting plan in the landscaping that will simply restore the vegetation and the privacy that had been there for 30, 40 years between the neighbors.
Thank you very much. Anybody else like to address the board on item number 3750 Picacho Lane, please?
No additional speakers.
Okay,
Just for one clarification, you said you were south of the property, or are you west of the property? Are you below the driveway, or are you at the,
We are the southern neighbor.
okay, so the easement drive goes back to you?
No, we are the southern neighbor. The easement drive goes to the easterly neighbor.
You know what?
So when you're looking at the rendering, we're just below.
Sorry, I'm looking at another plan. They have the north arrow going in the wrong direction.
Okay.
That's why
Uh,
they were conflicting.
Yeah.
Along those lines, is there any notion why the vegetation was were they opening up a view that they were trying to capture?
Well, that's the interesting thing, because we would assume, oh, okay, the flippers, they're remodeling it and they're going to make this great ocean view to increase the property value, and everyone understands that to a reason. But actually, I was hoping you would have gone to a site visit today, because it would have been much clearer to you how obvious it is. But when you go into the property and you see the vegetation is removed, they still have, even if the original vegetation was never removed, they still have an ocean view from the master bedroom and all of the places. So to even restore the screening wouldn't really destroy this ocean view or improve their view. It just kind of I'm not exactly sure why it was done, other than maybe originally they were planning on creating an ocean view for the ADU decks and things that no longer exist.
okay, thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
Okay, so anybody else? Public comment? No, okay. Comments, Rob. We are on for preliminary, maybe. Rob.
Well, in the interest of being good neighbors, it looks to me there's opportunities to either maybe putting some groupings of some kind of upright vertical trees in some clusters and strategically placing them that might soften the architecture from the neighbor and just kind of create some kind of screening. I think you can be kind of understand where to place those trees that best work for both people. So I would encourage that.
Dave, comments, please.
I wasn't here for the previous presentation, but from what I can tell, the existing structures there, they're not adding on to it in a way that's significantly impactful.
89 square feet plus a junior ADU.
Right, but we can't review the.
That's right, but that's what it is.
Yeah, but the 89 square feet, from what I can tell from the elevations of existing to proposed. So, and I think the upgrades seem appropriate for the project. That all being said, I think addressing the screening issue would be my main concern moving forward with the project.
Stacy, comments,
I
please.
agree with both of the previous board members. I think there's ample room too, because right now it's just ground covers that are specified more or less along that southern property line. On the other side of the driveway, I think that in order for me to support it, you're going to have to supply proof of screening along that whole edge if what was removed previously, that same height, scale, bulk, in terms of not disturbing the lower neighbor's view, but the rest of the project looks fine.
Robert, please.
No further comments.
Eric, I think 2, 3, or maybe 4 north-south running site sections through your building and into the neighbors. I assume the neighbor will be cooperative, I hope, letting them on the property so that they can get accurate information about how high your existing structures are and where the grade lines are, and then how any proposed vegetation would return the privacy to the south neighbor, I think would be extremely helpful for you and the south neighbor. Would you be willing to prepare those sections, please? Eric?
Yes, we'd be willing to prepare those sections.
And revise the landscaping?
Yes, we can do that as well, and would just request perhaps if that can be a condition of approval, we'd be happy to provide the screening and bring that back at final review.
Okay, so all applicants want preliminary because of the importance of it. Do we want to hold up this approval until we see those site sections and what's proposed and put it on for a preliminary final whenever they're ready to come back? Or do we want to give them the one step and then have them come back and show us how they did it, please?
You should just condition it and they can come back for.
Anybody else got a comment? Okay, I'm going to vote against this project because of the FAR. You did not provide a neighborhood study to prove that it's relevant. I'm not saying it isn't, but I don't have anything to base it on. So would somebody else like to make the motion, please? For preliminary, it sounds like the board's ready to do that.
I move for preliminary approval to come back.
With the applicant to do what about the landscaping? It needs to be a condition of approval.
Yeah, that access drive should be screened. That's the condition.
Can we expand upon that condition?
Yeah, do you want to second it and
I can second it, and I'd like to clarify the condition that applicant to provide screening along the southern edge and with additional sections in order to prove that there will be additional screening that is satisfactory to the southern property at the same level as previous to the construction and the removal of the screening.
Yes.
Well, so that the final drawings come before the full board?
Yes.
Okay.
Full board.
So Eric, do you understand this? We're going to give you preliminary, but we're going to give you a preliminary, but we're going to condition sections with showing how the landscaping will screen the southern neighbor from your property. You got that?
Understood. Yes, thank you.
And then back to the full board for full review for final.
Very good. Thank you, board members.
So all members of the board that would like to support that, please say aye.
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 All those opposed? Nay. Okay, thank you very much. We'll see you back at the full board.
Very good.
Item
Thanks.
number, and thank you, board, for being so brief. Item number 4, 1308 Danielson Road. We're on for preliminary today. Reduce hardscape, consider removing paving south of the pool, study options to add more planted landscape areas, pockets, consider utilizing pervious hardscape materials, sand, set, flagstone with planted joints as a suggestion, soften outdoor dining area, restudy trellis, propose a more cohesive landscape palette, utilize subtropical plant species to match existing. If bamboo is proposed, utilize a clumping species. Consider replacing and unifying windows on the west elevation. The legality of the existing garage is being evaluated. So I think the memo is going to talk about that. Study garage design. So we do have a memo. I reviewed the plans Tuesday. I asked Willow to provide this memo. So let's read that. Existing garage is located within the rear yard setback and does not conform to zoning requirements. However, it is shown in its current location on approved plans from 1974. Based on review of historic aerial imagery, the garage appears to be the same size and in the same configuration as it was in 1974, when it was acknowledged on the approved set of stamped zoning plans. Therefore, it is considered legal non-conforming. Okay, so no modifications required? Willow? Willow?
I believe she was in a training.
So do other people?
Alex.
Yeah, Alex would know. So,
That is correct. If this is considered legal non-conforming, a modification is not required.
okay, so are any other modifications required, please? Please? This is
No.
it, right?
We
This
know
was the only
Heidi.
one.
No
Heidi,
other-
this was the only one, right?
Correct.
Okay, there we go. So we are on for preliminary today. As you probably heard me, we're rushing a little bit because of people needing to go places. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Chair and board members. We're happy to be back today. We're glad that we got this planner memo and the garage consideration clarified. We also provided an exhibit if you want to go through it based on some questions from the chair. So we'll run through the project plans and happy to answer any questions you have.
I'll address the landscape comments from the last meeting and then I'll turn it over to John. If you could go to the landscape plan sheets. Keep going. There we go. Reduce hardscape, consider removing the paving south of the pool. We added additional landscape areas and plantings near the outdoor dining area, which is where the old carport was. And the paving just south of the pool, we left in place for maintenance access. Number two, study options to add more planted landscape area pockets. Consider utilizing pervious hardscape materials, sandset, flagstone. So we changed the pathway between the pool and Danielson Road to stepping stones with planted joints, and that increased the landscape area in that location. And also along the north side of the garage in that narrow area there, we changed from solid flagstone to stepping stones with planted joints. Soften the outdoor dining area. As I mentioned before, we added additional landscape around the outdoor dining area. Proposed a more cohesive landscape palette, use subtropical plant species. I eliminated the cactus, a few succulents, and I added species such as Kentia palm, giant bird of paradise, tree ferns, plumeria, philodendron, etc. And if the last landscape comment was if bamboo is proposed, utilize a clumping species. We are removing probably about half of that existing giant timber bamboo clump, and we're leaving the rest in place for screening. And no new bamboo is proposed. I'll turn it over to John.
So item 4 was restudy the trellis. We had spoken the previous meeting that the trellis would stay, but I understood a lot of the concern was that kind of cobbled post that ever holding that up. So we proposed to remove those posts. So it's a wood post to kind of match the rest of that trellis. So that was a good observation. Item 7 was considering replacing the windows along the master bathroom. We propose to keep those arches because there is a consistency in the project with those arches. We're using kind of a unique place. And so it did feel kind of consistent with the rest of the project. And they're on what would be the north side. That it would be the next elevation, I think. There you go. So on the lower right is the little band of arched windows, and it's what's there. It's been there. We're just kind of replacing those in this new location. Item 8 was the garage was kind of answered previously, and 9 was studying the garage design from the perspective of fire safety. So, that is correct. Within, that close to the property line, fire rating is required, but we can meet that 1 hour rating.
Without a parapet?
The parapet's not needed. And within 2 feet, we're allowed a projection, in there, so we don't have any of those. So the parapet's not required. And there is a little small parapet there already, but it's not like a townhome type parapet required.
Are you done with your presentation?
Complete.
Yes.
Thank you for being brief today. Questions, Robert?
It's eclectic intentionally, or I'm trying to figure it out, the differences in fenestration.
It's owner built.
It's all built.
Did you go to the site? I don't think you went to the site.
No, I
Yeah, you might-
didn't.
you'd have to see it.
Yeah, okay. No more questions.
Dave, questions, please.
Yeah, I have to say a site visit's worth 1,000 words.
Okay, so
So we went to it, but so I don't have any questions because I was able to. Yeah.
Stacy, questions, please.
No questions.
Rob, questions.
No questions.
And I have no questions. Oh, I'm sorry, Bill, you're back.
Could you go to the site plan real quick? So the front area that was a carport space, is that going away and not a carport anymore? Is that it? And the question I have is, go to the one that's the landscape, I think. Sorry that Aaron did. You show what looks like paving kind of going right up to the fence. Is there a need for doing that? Could you pull that paving material off of there, or are you planning on pulling a car in, parking in that little, the little spot there that's kind of between the fence and the the dining, where number 10 is kind of arrowed. I don't know what that says, fence or something.
Oh, that is, existing gate to remain. We'd like to, leave that in place for occasional,
Access.
access.
Okay, so you don't intend to pull that paving off of that. You want to just be able to roll stuff in there if you need
Yeah, exactly. And roll the trash bins out.
trash cans. Okay. All right, that was it. Thanks.
And I have no questions. Public comment, we had 2 letters of support, 3 letters of support several meetings ago. Did those get in there?
Get in
Box account?
for today? No.
Okay, if people remember, there were 2 or 3. Do you remember how many?
I believe it was 2.
2 letters of support for the garage. I just want to bring that up. Anybody else like to make public comment on this project, please? 1308 Danielson Road, item 4.
No requests.
Okay, so we are on for preliminary today. Comments, Robert.
I don't have any comments.
Dave, comments, please.
I can support the project as proposed.
Stacy,
I still really like the project. I think it's a great project. I think it's an interesting house with a lot of character. And I think the changes that Aaron made to the landscape are a vast improvement, especially in the plant palette too. I think that it adds the same level of character the house has. So I can improve it.
Rob, comments.
Yeah, I agree with Stacy, and I think how you execute that could make this a really great project. So I think landscaping is a big part of kind of bringing out the charm of and the fun of the architecture.
Bill, comments, please.
Yeah, I can approve it as you've shown, and I do appreciate sort of the eclectic nature of it after seeing it. of course. It's hard to illustrate that. I would just make a comment, make sure your light fixtures are night sky compliant. I think I might have seen one in there that didn't look like a fixture you could see the bulbs in. So when you come back for final.
It's obviously not done by an architect trained in the Beaux-Arts. So I was going to vote against this project because of the garage modification. But if it's legal, it's legal. And I'm not going to challenge the planning department's view. So I'm okay with this project. You know, it's people sometimes complain about or comment on a project like this, the lack of cohesiveness. And I think that we could all learn something from forgetting our architectural school training. So is there a motion for, we're on for preliminary, and is there a motion for preliminary, please?
I move that we pass the plan at preliminary and move to final on consent.
That's what you like. Is there a second for that, please?
I'll second that.
Okay, so preliminary final consent. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you for being brief, everybody. Item number 5, we're moving right along today. We're going to get everybody out of here in time. 2176 East Valley Road. We are on for preliminary final on this project. Is your mic on, sir? I don't think so.
I didn't realize it's my turn yet. Jarrett Gorin from Vanguard Planning, back with this new garage. There weren't a ton of comments from the last hearing. I don't have the minutes up, but I pretty much remember what they were, so we can walk through
I
those.
can read them if you like.
Sure.
Add ingress, egress, and backup templates to the site plan to confirm the usability, maneuverability of garage layout. Add details and architectural elements to garage to match, complement the existing residence. Add articulation or fenestration. Widen the width of the walkway path in the courtyard. Utilize single gravel materials. Simplify. Return the full architectural details. You are on for both preliminary and final.
Okay, great. Let's start with the site plan and look at the vehicle turning templates. And it's not that site plan, it's a couple of sheets in. There you go. Go back one. Nope, the one where, yeah, those. And if you could zoom in on those turn templates on the lower right. Okay, so what we did is we used the City of Santa Barbara's standard vehicle turning movement template on here. And so the circles, like the little circle is like the rear wheel on the inside of the car, and the larger one is the outside corner of the car. And these are pretty accurate to real life. And so what we're showing is the vehicle has backed out of each space here, and it turns while it's backing out, like you'd back out of your garage. And then what the larger circles show is that as the vehicle drives forward, it clears the structure as it can drive out. It gets pretty close on the lower bay that's closer to the East Valley, but it does have clearance on there. And these are conservative templates. I went and did some measuring on them, and that vehicle in this template is about 17 feet long. So that's like a Cadillac Escalade. Like your typical car is going to have a lot more room, but even that would be able to make it here. So, like I said before, like we ran these when we designed it to make sure it works, and generally there's enough back out space behind these bays that we kind of knew it would work beforehand. So this shows that the back out and then driving head out of the parking will work. So that answers that question. Let's go to the elevations now. So the comments on the elevations before, they were a little bit more Spartan the last time we showed up. But one of the biggest comments was we had like a pedestrian door into and out of the garage on that front elevation, which is the upper left one. And the board was worried that people might confuse that was the front door of the house. So we were asked to look at a window there, and so we switched it over to a window, and I think it looks fine as a window. We went and looked at the house, and the details that we've picked up on here from the house really are the window details and the rafter tails, and it's kind of tough to see them, but you can see the bottom of the rafter tails sticking out on the side elevations there, or I guess that's the back elevation of the garage, but you can see those rafter tails sticking out under the edge board on the edge of the roof. And then we sort of had generic garage doors and things the last time, but we've actually picked out garage doors. So we've shown those in that lower right elevation there. And then on the next sheet, I think we've got our actual materials. Yeah, so we've picked out the roof material, which is sort of this shake looking roof, which matches the house. You can see the front porch of the house and what its windows look like. And so you can see we're matching that with a black, nice iron window. We got a divided partial light front door. We're going to do the same stucco on this, same color as the house. And you can see what those garage doors look like. And then the light fixture we've picked is the same one that's on the house right now. So that was picking up the details on the house onto this structure. Let's go to the landscape plan now. So what I didn't realize before is everything behind that middle wall that's in basically where the garage is, everything back is actually not apart. We're not changing anything back there. And I didn't realize that last time, but my team pointed that out to me. So the comments about widening the path and everything there, we're not changing any of that or proposing to change any of that as part of this project. There was a comment I didn't hear when you reread the minutes, but I remember at the last hearing, somebody asked about incorporating that middle wall, like having it spring directly from the structure. And we actually are doing that. It wasn't evident, like at the scale I was looking at the plans, but if you zoom in, if you go to the next landscape plan, yeah, if we could like zoom in on the garage structure, we're basically starting that structure where the wall is and demolishing the part of the wall that would be right up next to that structure. So the remaining dividing wall that sort of separates the parking areas on the site from the rest of the areas on the site, that is going to integrate into the edge of the structure. It comes up and hits that corner. So there's that also. And then we've got that sort of flagstone landing area in front of the pedestrian door to the garage. And we moved it to the back like we were asked to look at last time. So I think that's everything from last time. If it's not, let me know if you have any other questions.
Questions, Bill?
Could you go back to that circle template? Because I see here that you've got the
landscaping right there.
Okay, yeah, there's a man door in between, so you've got enough distance to back out of that far end. It looked originally like, oh, there's no room.
Yeah, that's why we did that. We wanted to push those doors further so that
further to
car
the
had
side.
room.
Do you think you'd be able to add some kind of low plant material? I don't know what's on that. Is it the east side of the property? Is north up on this plan? I don't know.
North is, yeah, I think north is up on this
The
plan.
right side of that driveway there, you've got just paving right up to a wall or landscaping, or what's going on over there?
I think the paving goes, well, let's go to the landscape plan and see what we have there. We could add some low
looks
landscaping there. Yeah, because there's enough room for the vehicle to overhang that and without the wheels going into it. So that's what that is.
Looks like you're good there. I didn't see any details, so I don't know if you're asking for finals, so I don't know.
No, they're on for final. They may only have enough for preliminary.
Yeah, okay. And your light fixture, even though it matches, right, it's not night sky compliant, so I don't know. We'll have to figure out how that works. Anyway, those were my only questions.
Rob, questions, please.
I don't have any questions. Yeah, I was just looking at that walkway, and I mean, I would try to fatten it up. I mean, you could kind of add stones along the way of it and make it kind of a little more interesting and make it um a little bit more celebrate a little bit more. But overall, I'm fine. So
Robert, questions, please.
No questions.
Dave, questions, please.
No questions.
Stacy,
No questions.
are you at the side yard setback on the west side of the garage?
Yeah, we're right up against the setback.
And how high is that plant material on the east side of the driveway? You're overhanging that in your template. You're showing you're backing over that.
Yeah, it would overhang it. I don't know how high it is. Let's see what material they picked there.
It can't be anything. So do we have a call out on that material 1 and 2? Do we see 1 and 2?
Plants listed down below with letters, but there's no call out as to what those are.
Up on top, is there a call out, please?
Yeah, the call outs are up on the top.
Undulatum, which is huge. That won't fit in that space if you're backing into that corner.
Yeah, existing oak, Pittosporum undulatum. Okay, so that plant palette needs to be, okay, so we'll get to that comment. Yeah. Public comment, is there anybody that would like to address the board on item number 5, 2176 East Valley Road, please?
No requests.
Okay, Bill pointed out that maybe there is not enough for final, but we are on for preliminary final. Comments, Bill?
Yeah, I'm fine with the garage and the placement and generally the site work. As John's pointing out, the planting there against that east side needs to be addressed because your overhang of the car is going over it. I maybe label your LRV on the white paint color that you have there and come back with details and night sky compliant fixture, and I'd be good for final, but this is preliminary.
Rob?
I mean, I think the project is improved. One thing, I don't think you can do the pea gravel in the driveway. That the county doesn't allow the gravel because they don't want it tracked onto their public road. So you might have to kind of look at another harder surface at least for a certain. Is it 50 feet? What is the throat of the driveway coming in, Jared? Off the public street?
I don't remember the exact throat.
Looks like it's all the same pea gravel. So if you might have to change the material in there and then get approval on that. But other than that, I think it's been improved. And I guess I would, if you can, I would encourage you to kind of still widen the walkway and square it up a little bit here and there. But I think the project's fine.
Robert, comments, please.
Yeah, I agree with all the other members and preliminary spine, but there's a few tweaks there or more information is necessary.
Irrigation, final planting.
Dave, comments, please.
Yeah, I can support the project for preliminary approval with the condition that they resolve the landscape with that parking turnaround and obviously come back with the final details for on consent.
Stacy, please.
I can support it for preliminary. I agree with the rest of the board. On coming back though for final, I think on the planting plan, we need to see the parking template that you provided just to see if it's working. Because right now, my gut feeling is that corner can't have a lot of planting in order for that top car to maneuver out.
So you'd like us to overlay the parking template onto the landscape plan?
Yeah, to see how you're hitting the plants, because you might have to rethink that a little bit, but I'm fine moving this along.
David, can you go to this plan, look at the south side, which is closest to the road of the garage, please? Right there, just zoom in
By the driveway.
Yeah, you'll notice that that's still a door on this plan.
Oh, on the landscape plan, yeah, it's
Okay,
not a
so-
door.
Yeah, and which will give us a little bit more landscape right there too.
Sure.
Okay, so do I have a motion for preliminary approval, please?
Yeah, I can grant preliminary approval with the applicant to come back for final on consent.
Yeah, I think
Yes,
so.
with details, colors, light fixtures. complete landscape.
Landscape plans, irrigation, you know,
Below,
relo. Is there a second, please?
second.
Any further discussion?
Okay.
All those in favor?
I think they should, as Stacy mentioned, demonstrate that the parking works with the landscaping.
Yeah, demonstrate the parking with the landscape.
Okay, let's get that in the motion to overlay the,
Parking template with the landscape plan.
good, excellent, thank you.
Second, I agree with that. That's fine.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all those opposed. Okay.
Right, thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for moving this project, this along today. Item number 6, 220 Hot Springs Road. We are on for both preliminary and final. I indicate that there's a memo. Okay. The applicant has made the following changes to the project in response to MBAR's feedback. Entry portal out of character scale with the existing conditions. Those are the comments. Oh, okay. The proposed outdoor kitchen has been relocated entirely to the area adjacent to the pool. The trash receptacles have been relocated. The proposed landscaping for pedestrian access and the passageway behind the single-family unit, SFU, has been updated. Maybe it's ADU.
It should
Okay.
be D, SFD, the house.
Okay, a detail for the entry fountain has been added. Details for window doors have been added. Updated the finishes of the sound wall to Santa Barbara sandstone to be cohesive with the driveway. The driveway of the entry portal was simplified and the scale reduced to align more closely with the overall architecture, creating a more human scale and natural feel. The windows adjacent to the front door have been reduced in size. The front door was changed to solid. The glass above the front door has been removed and will be a wall instead. The extra wall thickness adjacent to the garage door was removed. The garage wall is now consistent in its thickness. So Gasper, are you with us today? Who's with us today?
This is Adam. I'm the architect. Gaspar is here as
Okay.
well.
Okay.
But I was actually going to just go over the comments from last time and then address how we addressed them, which is what you basically just did with that list. So I'm not sure if you'd like me to go to sort of elaborate on that or.
Well, we are pressed for time today, so
Okay.
if we could just, through no fault of yours, so if we could just be brief, and you can point out the important architectural features
Okay.
have changed. Thank you.
David, can you go to G.04? Okay, so this is a relevant one, and then G05 as well. So basically, regarding the entry portal, one of the comments was that it was sort of out of character and scale with existing conditions. So we sort of simplified and reduced the scale to align more closely with the overall architecture. Um, the front door area, which is, let's see, David, if you go back G03, or no, sorry, G05. G06. So the front door here, we changed from glass to solid, and then the area above the front door used to be glass. We made it into a wall, and we reduced the size of the glass in the rooms adjacent to front door. And then there was a question about the thickness on one of the garage walls. We removed that extra wall thickness so the garage wall is consistent. That's on G05. And then we introduced regarding the materials for the sound wall in the garage area. We updated, as you said, the finishes of the sound wall to Santa Barbara sandstone to be cohesive with the driveway. And then Sasha, do you want to? Well, okay. So and then we also added entry details for the entry vestibule fountain, details for the windows and doors, which would be Milgard black vinyl to match the ADU. Trash receptacles relocated and the outdoor kitchen relocated. Sasha, would you like to elaborate on the landscape updates?
Yes, if you
Okay.
could go to the site plan LC1. So our main features have all remained the same, but in response to comments 7 and 8, we restudied the pathways underneath the oak trees by the driveway and brought it down to a single pathway, removing the flagstone steps just to make it a little more clear and also allow for more planter space. And then looking at the main artificial turf play area in the back, we're continuing to soften the existing low stucco wall to the north with cascading plants and new fruit trees. And then we still have our larger planter to the south around the oak trees, incorporating low water use plants and natives where possible, including carex for a majority of that edge condition. And then if you go to the next sheet, you'll see a detail for the outdoor barbecue that's located next to the pool that is incorporating a darker countertop material to contrast our lighter tan paving to give it a contemporary look. And then on the next sheet, we have our dark sky compliant light fixtures and more of our standard details. And then going forward, 2 more, I believe. So here we have the irrigation plan, and a majority of our plant palette is low water use, but in response to comment 10, we re-looked at the WELO chart, which there was a slight drafting error in getting the chart updated. So I'll have to verbally tell you that zones 9, 13, and 14 have been updated to 0.4 for medium water use due to the incorporation of some camellias. We're replacing some existing ones that had to be removed. So those are medium, and that brings our total estimated water use to 94,365 out of the maximum allowed, which is 106,997. So we're still well within our allowed water use, and that could be resubmitted on the condition for approval, or if you're able to accept that verbally. But moving forward to the next sheet, here's some irrigation details and our notes, and then the next sheet should be our planting plan, where you can see some of those symbols for the shrubs and ground covers, which I believe is new to the board. We didn't have that before. It was just the preliminary planting zones. So I think it's easier to look at the next sheet with images so you can get an idea and a feel for what we're including. The client really loves color, so we went with a split complementary palette, emphasizing yellows and purples while also including pops of pink. You can also see, as I said earlier, a majority are low water use plants, but we do have some medium water use with the camellia, and in the shady areas, we're also including some giant chain fern and Sertonium, the Japanese holly fern, sort of keeping with the lush textures of Lamandra and plants typical to Santa Barbara like Echium and lavender, sort of pulled together to create our whole planting scheme. And then you can also see images for our material palette, the Santa Barbara sandstone, exposed aggregate for the majority of the driveway, and then the porcelain tile. And that concludes the landscape portion.
Are you guys done with your presentation then, please?
Yes.
Adam?
Yep.
Yes, okay. We are on for preliminary final today. Questions, Stacy?
I was looking at the elevation in the plan set from the gate, G.08. So will we still be seeing the portal from outside, even when the gates are shut?
Possibly.
Or is that not updated?
Possibly just a tiny bit from certain angles.
Okay.
At 40 miles an hour going up.
That's true. Well, no, when you're stuck in traffic there.
Okay.
Um, okay, that was my only question.
Dave, questions, please.
No questions.
Bill?
The pool's new, is that right?
No, it's as built,
The
right?
pool is existing.
Okay. And then you said you had details. The only thing I saw was the cut sheets from the window manufacturer. I didn't see them actually shown in a wall. And I didn't see any roof, eave, or rake details.
I didn't see colors either.
We don't
Oh,
show
are we missing sheets? No.
No, they would be the standard installation of these windows in a wall.
We would want to
But-
see how those are installed, though, where they fit inside the wall position, and also roof, eave, and rake as well.
Okay.
And do you have light fixtures also, exterior light fixtures?
We do not have them chosen.
Okay.
Colors.
And colors, we'll need to see all that to finalize you for final.
Architectural colors.
Yeah. Building finishes. All right, that's all I had questions of.
Rob, questions?
Can I just see the site plan of the steps, that little entry walk steps coming from the public street? Can we scroll in on that, David? You had that, so I'm sorry. Yeah, that one works. Go, if you would, please. Just scroll. Can you go up by the street to where that steps come in? Right there. I mean, do you? Yeah, I mean, do you not need? You don't have the. So just look in that sketch over there. It looks like. Do you need a handrail or something there, or do you have the ability to get some planting between the steps and the and the driveway, by any chance? I was reacting to your sketch of the elevation of the entry gates. So that's my question.
We're going to incorporate a handrail, but there's sadly not room for any planting between those.
Okay, so you will need a handrail. Okay. Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Robert?
No questions.
And I have no questions. We are public comment. Is there anybody that would like to address the board on item number 6220 Hot Springs Road, please?
No requests.
Okay, we are on for prelim final. I think we could make prelim if people are ready for that. Stacy, comments?
Yeah, I'm willing to approve it for preliminary. I don't think you're there yet with details for final, but I'm fine with passing it to final on consent.
Dave?
I agree with Stacy.
Bill?
I agree with that too.
Rob?
Can we just go to the colored site plan for a second, please? Or is the colored landscape plan, I guess it was? Next day, that one more, I think it is. Yeah, that one. I think this project has improved immensely, and I think that kind of site plan kind of shows of how much better it has come together from where it started. So I support this project and could approve it and agree with the comments that a little more detail for final.
Robert, comments?
Yes, I agree with the other members.
Got it? Yeah, I want to compliment the applicant and the owner. I know this was a little bit of a rough road at certain points. I want to thank you for hanging in there. I think this project is significantly better than it was when you first brought it in. So do I have a motion for preliminary, please?
I'll move to grant preliminary approval for this project and for the applicant to return to consent for final review.
There a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Adam, did you happen to be here for most of the meeting today?
Basically, yes.
You know, we asked for some fairly precise details to really know what it is. And I want to make the comment, pretend that you won the $1.8 billion lottery and decided to say the heck with this architecture thing. Would they actually get it built the way you want it to with the drawings that you're presenting to us today? My comment would be, I don't think so. And we'd love to see how you would want it built. So that's what we're asking for on preliminary, on final. Okay?
Okay.
Enough so that somebody without your assistance can get this thing done. Item number 7, 306 Meadowbrook Drive. We are on for preliminary today. Nick, are you with us? Nicholas?
Yes, I'm here.
Restudy fenestration, inspirational photos don't relate to project architecture. Research further to find images, brochures that represent and align with the desired architectural style. One member suggested relocating and reshaping the motor court. Your drawings also came along a long way. So the floor is yours.
Okay, great. Yeah, yeah, so I had those three things on my list. We've also, focused on juxtaposing our project, which is driven mainly internally to provide a useful floor plan for the owner, a connection to the site and landscape, ocean and mountain views, all things that the site provides, but the existing floor plan does not with those external ambitions. So if we click through here, I will walk through some of the stuff about it. Keep going. So this is just really a map, 1800 Jalinda in the center there of the adjacent properties to give us a sense of the neighborhood, and kind of the range of styles. So on the following page, we looked up images of, our contiguous neighbors, to get a sense of the kind of overall range within the neighborhood. So then if we keep going on the next page, we found this to be like throughout the course of the project, a very useful, like contemporary interpretation of an agricultural shed. So we believe this ties back to some of the, historical images that we've seen in Montecito, but is something that's, a more kind of contemporary interpretation, very simple and utilitarian. And then on the next page, a more local, well, a local example that I designed, that again is like simple and utilitarian, but is kind of where the architecture is symbiotic to the landscape. And again, is a kind of contemporary example, that I would say of the kind of more historical imagery that we provided earlier. So then as next. So on this page, we also updated the exterior wall material, which is a micro cement. We found this like really exciting. I've used it in a previous project, it's kind of like a 1/8 inch. It's applied similar to a plaster, but it provides like a similar to a concrete finish that's like a more organic quality to it. And it's very practical in a renovation because it can be just applied over the existing plaster, the existing exterior drywall, but is a exterior material, so super waterproof, super resilient. So as we clicked through, we studied those on the elevations. This is the existing survey. So we've noted with the comments about the circle, the driveway circle, with our civil engineer, and just yeah, we like the idea of providing something more organic, and we've attempted to minimize the amount of grading, um, and uh, and that's something we plan to incorporate into this landscape plan. Um, so as we go forward, we can keep clicking through. All this has remained. Once we get to the elevations.
Yeah, next.
So we've lowered we've restudied and reevaluated the fenestration, and we've lowered the kind of typical datum across the all four sides of the building, and included kind of narrowing some of the windows. And then again, also in these elevations, you can compare what we showed 2 weeks ago to what we showed here, further development of the exterior wall materials and just the overall kind of representation of the ambition, and showing how we intend to kind of tie the material of the exterior walls to the landscape, to the kind of site walls as well. So as you click through, we have kind of before and afters, again, showing the kind of lower datum, and then also the operability of all the doors and windows. So this one, I would say it's the largest elevation, but it's also changed the most dramatically, and you'll see where kind of internal changes have also resulted on the exterior, but also again, we looked at that datum that used to be 8 feet, lowered it to 7'6", and then also started to look at some of the smaller windows that we think kind of provide more variation, provide like maybe more variability, but also like a little bit more playfulness to the overall elevation, and we think is an improvement. Yeah, so as we can click through from there. Similar here, where we changed some of the smaller windows, provided more detail and more resolution to this exterior facade. And again, throughout the representation of this idea where the carved stone is really set by the kind of entry level finish floor and the ground plane provided from the entry side on the west.
Was that it, Nicholas?
Yeah.
Thank you for that brief presentation. Okay, so Rob, questions, please.
Could you just, I'm trying to understand the stone has got this really, how you use the stone, and then where you switch is this real kind of solid line horizontally. Was there any reason why you didn't try to have the stone kind of move up and encapsulate other parts of the architecture? I mean, there seems to be an upper half and a bottom part of it. that you've stuck to. So I'm just kind of wondering that.
It's really inspired by tying the kind of half basement level to the landscape, and then we like the idea of it reading as like a single level. Um, yeah, it was. I don't have like a rationale beyond like using the finished floor level to and everything kind of diagrammatically below it is part of the landscape and above it is part of the architecture.
Okay,
And that
thank you.
I would set that line.
Questions, Bill?
One or two where that shows the original. I would at the slight
Originals are the black and whites.
Yeah, I mean I'm at a slight disadvantage here because I missed the last meeting and I didn't get the drawings. I couldn't upload them for some reason. Anyway, so you're converting this kind of a Spanish style into a contemporary is what looks like we're seeing here. Is that right? Yeah. Okay. And is there a reason yeah, no, that's all I have questions about.
Robert, questions, please.
No questions.
Dave, questions.
No questions.
Stacy, questions.
No questions.
And I have no questions. Public comment. Is there anybody that would like to address the board on item number 7, 306 Meadowbrook Drive, please?
No requests.
He's on for preliminary. It's not preliminary final, but he's on for preliminary. Comments, Rob.
I'm fine with the project I submitted.
Bill.
Again, kind of looking at this first time, I kind of like the old style, but that neither here nor there. I would say that the windows and doors to me still feel like they need a little work. Like this, particularly this north elevation, it looks like you have different header heights.
Go down to the next one, please.
Yeah, it looks like one window, one sliding door there. I think that's a sliding door, even though it's got hinges on it. Looks very close to the eave of the taller element, the centering of that. So I mean, and then if you go to some of the other elevations, it seems like the windows are pretty random. And even those doors don't line up with the head heights of the windows. And I don't know, that's just my opinion. I don't know if everybody else is feeling the same way, but I don't know that I'm okay with the forms, the roof forms and the shapes of the building, I think in general, but the windows and doors seem to need a little bit of work in my mind. That's it.
Robert, comments.
I felt the same as Bill at the last presentation. I think it's a much improved version of this style, and I can support it for preliminary.
Dave, comments, please.
Yeah, I agree. I can support it for preliminary and be interested to see the details in the next round.
Stacy, comments, please.
I mean, I think it's slightly better than last time. Just thank you for aiding us with at least colored renderings this time to get us a better understanding of your materials and how you are using them. I still feel same comment as last time that I think Tip had this too about the proportions of the doors and windows. And I think it also alludes to what Bill was trying to say, just seem random and definitely still need more work, but I could support it for preliminary. No guarantee on final.
So architecture school provides many different areas of study, including history. And one of the major things I walked away from was Mies van der Rohe's comment, God is in the details. And I think some of what Bill's talking about is in that God is in the details. You don't show gutters. I've never seen a soils report that doesn't call for them. And it may seem like a trivial issue, but you have core 10 steel called out, and that may be interesting to see how you get that into a gutter form. But and then the downspouts. But the windows, are they set in? Are they flush with the exterior? How does the upper portion, which may be thinner than the stone in the lower portion, how's all that work? So I'm happy to vote for preliminary, but you went through a number of iterations to get this far for the grosser part of the architecture, the larger things. I'm hoping that you can really dig in and we'll get it finished up next time, but this is going to be tricky enough with some of the materials that it may require more than one attempt at final details. And I just want to comment about that. Is there a motion for preliminary approval, please?
I'll move for preliminary approval.
Is there a second? Second, anybody or not?
I'll second that.
Given the little bit of silence there, are there any other additional comments that want to go into our motion, please?
Can I suggest final before the whole board?
Yes.
I mean, I thought that I guess I'm just troubled by this like bottom top, and I thought that there should be some interplay with the way the stone kind of moves and incorporates maybe upper part of the architecture and a little bit more movement. So I was looking for a little bit more there, but I mean, the architect has something in mind, and I guess I didn't want to like step on their toes. So.
Anything else?
No, I'm still absorbing it.
I think everybody commented that the details are very important.
God is in the details. Okay. All those,
There was a three-dimensional one.
no, he never did it. All those, we're on for prelim. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? It's 2:48. Thank you, Nicholas. It's 2:48.
Thank
Who's
you.
got to go first?
I believe till 4.
Or what about you? Was there somebody at
Bill, or, yeah,
okay, guys, come on up. You've got just under half an hour. We are moving today fairly rapidly
good job.
because we knew that there were quorum issues. And we still have quorum, so I think we should just keep going. So we're basically on, just to review, sort of the added sheets or sheets. Bill, do you want to, excuse me, Brian, do you want to?
Sure. There were basically three items from the last time. One, confirming architect selection. We're going to let Margot Byrne, the president and CEO of Channel Islands Regional YMCA, speak to that. And then the plan update, specific requests to include the scope of work clearly. We've got that on the cover page. And then the second sheet is our, the more detailed project description that has all of the elements and the phasing and all of that. And I think Tatiana did a good job. If you had a chance to review her memo, she kind of walked through those same things. And then there were a few things Tatiana requested to clean up on clarification on some of the light fixtures. But otherwise, the plans are exactly the same as the last time. So with that, if it's our turn, I'd like to introduce Margot Byrne from the YMCA.
Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry I can't be there in person. I have a board meeting here in a few minutes. Thanks for the chance. I'll keep it very brief because of time constraints. We are so happy that through the governance process, which we're required to follow, an RFP went out, and we are so pleased to continue this work on the Montecito project with Mark and Kevin and the Design Arc team. So I will leave it at that, and we are incredibly grateful for the work that they've done and will continue to do on this project.
Thank you very much.
So I think we'll turn it over to Kevin and Mark. We can go through just sheet by sheet, or if you want to review the memo.
That memo was not in my box on Tuesday morning. So do people want to go through and read this? Do they care?
No, are they specifying what we need to review? Is that what that bullet? Yeah, let's have her do that.
Tatiana, thank you for being thorough. Now can you be brief?
Hi everyone, it's Tatiana. I'm on Zoom. Yes, in summary, I just added in the memo just our advisory that, we've reviewed this. We think they've provided everything for preliminary review. And also, if you'll go scroll up a little, where is just under that condition, yeah, so because of the project phasing, this is new paragraph from last time. They will be building it out with separate zoning clearances. It will come back with each phase 1, 2, and 3, and they'll be applying for a design review for those phases. It'll return to your board for comments on those final details.
Thank you very much. Okay, so presentation, please. Whatever you do or don't want to show.
Okay, Kevin Dumaine, project architect with Design Arc. This is a good page to start on. So if you can zoom in on that scope of work, what we've done is try to paraphrase some of the concerns that were raised at the last meeting. Okay, this package of master plan drawings dated October 3rd, 2025 has been prepared and submitted for the purpose of obtaining preliminary design approval from the Montecito Board of Architectural Review for the proposed Montecito Family YMCA Master Plan previously approved by the Montecito Planning Commission on November 20th, 2024. This preliminary approval pertains to the overall site planning, including site access, parking, building locations, landscaping, grading, site lighting, colors and materials, circulation, and associated improvements. Separate drawings will be submitted for preliminary/final design approval for each project phase as specified in the approved phasing plan in conformance with these drawings. Essentially, we tried to summarize what the issues were at the last meeting and record them here. Okay, then we can, let's go to the next page. There was a comment about having the project description included in the drawing document. So we've basically cut and pasted those sheets onto here. So that's been a new sheet on the set. All right, let's jump ahead to the lighting pages. Those should be like A808, 9, and 10.
We can just, yeah.
Okay. There were a few discrepancies on these, and so we've cleaned those up. Eliminated one fixture, picked up some discrepancies on the photometrics. So that's really the extent of the changes that we've made.
Can we, Mark, did you have anything additional? Can we go to the very first page and then just page, not too quickly, not too slowly, just so we can see it, please?
Okay.
A little faster, I think. Is that it? Are you guys done with your presentation?
And just for the benefit of our two members that weren't here last time, just I'll be real brief. So went to the Planning Commission last November. They approved the project with a specific condition that was to specifically return to your board. They didn't want new eucalyptus trees being planted. That was a part of the previous landscape plan. And so Susan's not here today. She was at the last meeting. And so we've replaced those previously proposed eucalyptus with another native tree species. So that was kind of the reason that the MPC wanted us to come back and get back in front of your board. And we took the opportunity, since the project's matured enough, to go ahead and do the colors and materials and the things that you would typically, and lighting details that you would typically see for preliminary. So the project is exactly the same as MPC approved, with the exception of that tree species change.
Is that it? Questions, Robert?
Just out of curiosity, so this is considered a public project? Is that why you have to do the request for, what do you call it? RFWs?
The RFP process?
Yeah.
That's a requirement of the YMCA. So when you have a project over like a certain dollar amount, that they're required to go out to, through an RFP process.
But it's not considered a public building.
It's open to the public. If you're a member of the public,
You know what I'm
member.
Yeah.
Okay, no more questions.
Bill?
So just to clarify, the story poles we saw out there at the site, same thing. The ukes you're talking about, are they taking ukes down and then putting this other species up? Is that, and is it, I mean, we had a lot of discussion about that western property edge there, about plantings and screening and all that kind of stuff. So is it an oak? Is it a sycamore? What's going in there?
I'll clarify that. So the existing ukes that are still there would remain, but in the previous schemes, we had ukes as a fast-growing screening species. And so per the MPC, and also given more recent fire developments, those are going to go away. And so the kind of the predominant infill tree will be the Catalina cherry.
Okay, all right.
And was Bill, that was specifically along the San Ysidro where that bank, that steep slope is, and that was kind of the area of the tree replacements there.
And just so I know, because I might want to join this club at some point, is the main building coming down completely? That's getting remodeled. Okay, all right. And the pool is staying, but the changing room getting remodeled, and then the big thing is the gym.
Let me add a little more detail. The main building, the eastern portion up against the creek, that we keep because of the proximity to the creek. And then the western portion gets torn down, and we make for more open spaces, and we also extend it to the west. So we increase the size of the building, but we work with the eastern portion of the footprint and just extrude it. The locker room structure would be replaced. And then the pool, they want to add some more capacity, so there'd be some additional lanes. So it's going to grow and expand.
Got it. Okay, that was it. Thank you.
Questions, Dave?
No questions.
Questions, Rob?
You mentioned the tree replaced the eucalyptus. What was the tree?
Catalina cherry.
So that's not native then, but
It is.
oh, I thought they were doing Prunus caroliniana.
Is that it? Yep. Stacy, questions?
No.
And I have no questions. Public comment. Is there anybody that would like to address the board on item number 8, 591 Santa Rosa Lane, please?
No requests.
Okay, so we are on for preliminary for the master plan, not for any building. Comment, Robert, excuse me, I apologize.
I think the master plan is ready for preliminary.
Bill, comments?
I agree.
Dave?
I agree, and it's good to know that they're committed to using the architects. I think that's important.
Rob?
Yeah, I think it's a nice project and look forward to seeing it. The devil's in the details again, so thank you.
Stacy,
Yeah, I can approve it as is. Good luck with the fundraising.
congratulations, gentlemen, on your selection. And I'm fine with this plan now that it's kind of, the meat's been put on the bones. So it's a little bit clearer. Is there a motion for preliminary approval, please?
I'll make a motion to grant this project preliminary approval with, we don't have any follow-up then at this point.
No, this could come back in 3 months if they get a big donor. It could come back in 5 years or 10 years.
Okay, well,
Yeah, well,
We're pulling for you.
yeah, I'd kind of like to join if I could.
yeah. Okay, and any further,
Second the motion.
any further, you'll second the motion. Any further discussion, please? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Congratulations, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Okay, so thank you, everybody, for going as quickly as you did. Is there a motion for adjournment, please?
Motion to adjourn.
Second that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Everybody have good time.